Hello everyone, Krydax here. Welcome back to pYanodon's Season 3. I almost said Pydax here or something. I'm becoming one with the pyanodons. So, a couple things to note. There's so much going on right now in this playthrough. It feels like we have to plan ahead for like 50 different things. And so I'm probably just not going to plan ahead for all of them because at some point you got to say, I'm going to move on. But I wanted to point out something that some of you may not know, which is that pyanodons has multiple tiers of locomotive, and the tier 2 and the tier 4 wagons are shorter. They're half length. You can see there's 2 wagons here. And the way that it works is that each of them has 20 storage, so you effectively have double the storage in the same amount of space. But that kind of causes problems for this whole cybernetic combinator issue. So I'm not really sure exactly how I want to deal with that yet. One option is just to turn off automatic allow list, which if I'm fully planning on doing 1-1 trains forever, then that's actually fine. I can just turn those off on all my stations and there will be no problems. Because the reason that's fine to turn off is that it's too early. I haven't had enough coffee. If they're always 1-1 trains, it doesn't matter what train's delivering to and from who and where, right? And so that's no problem. But if I ever wanted to use a different size of train, not having the allow lists would cause issues, and I would need different size trains to be on a different bit mask. So that is potentially a problem. The other solution that I found is this. It's a fake inserter to fool the allow list to thinking I can have a 1-2 train. Because right now it says we can only have a 1-1 train, right? This one says we can only have a 1-1 train because I only have inserters on the first wagon. But if I throw an inserter here, then now it thinks it can accept a 1-2 wagon because I threw an inserter there. It'll never do anything. I could even face it, there with nothing behind it, so it would never insert anything onto the tracks even. But that fools the combinator into thinking we can allow 1-2 trains, which is what this thinks it has, even though it's kind of like a 1-1 train, right, in terms of the actual size. So our main 2 options are either turn off the allow lists or use the dummy inserter at every station. And I also have the option of, do I deal with this now or deal with it later? If I deal with it later, I'm going to have to click a lot of these off of automatic allow lists, or I'm going to have to make a lot of dummy inserters. So I'm thinking I want to deal with it sooner rather than later, because the next wagon, it's not that far. Like, they are really expensive, so it's probably pretty far away even after we unlock it, but it is just Pi2 science, right? And then we don't get the third option until Pi3 science and chemical science, which is obviously hundreds of hours further. So I'm not sure if I want to wait until then. Some people just skip ahead. They just skip the short ones altogether until they have because the tier 3 ones are back to being normal length. So then they just wait until they have these. I'm not sure if I want to do that or not. We'll see. Thing number 2 that I want to point out is that we have a little bit of a weird issue with request thresholds, because right now we have trains that can only hold 20, right? Our actual train, let me turn that off. Our wagon size is 20. Well, when we get to the next tier, our wagon size will be 20 plus 20, which will be 40. But the problem is our request threshold won't be 40 on anything. So I'm not really sure the best way to approach this, because what I don't want to have to do is go around and change every single request threshold, and I don't really know how to handle that for things that are more bulk items like iron plates or something, right? For things like iron plates, we want full train loads. So I'm not really sure the best way to do that. I'm thinking it might be the logistic groups. Someone was talking about those on Discord, and I think that might be the best solution that we can do. And basically what we'll do is we'll have a specific logistics group. Let me grab a combinator. Do we have any? No, of course we don't. We're out of batteries. Let me go grab some batteries. If I can manage to not get run over here. You know what? Maybe I should just have like logs on the hotbar so I can do that and then hop over here easier. But yeah, so what we need to figure out is like, how are we going to manage those request thresholds? Because when we get bigger trains, our request thresholds are going to be too small for things where I want them to be. I should probably have at least one set of stuff. Let's see. What am I doing? I literally already, I need more coffee. I'm sorry. I already forgot what I'm grabbing. Why am I here? Who am I? So I'll just grab all the other things to make it not look like an accident. What did I do? I'm gonna get more yellow inserters, by the way, because we're slowly starting to use more yellows and less grays. Shoot. What was I gonna grab? Was it circuits? It was batteries, that's what it was. And batteries are not something that we're even buffering right here, so that's kind of why. I can just grab them off this belt, though. We don't need that many. Just 100. Oh, I grabbed too many. So anyway, yeah, that's kind of the problem. So the solution might be to set the request threshold on these to be, there will be two groups. There will be one group called bulk stack 100, and this will be a request threshold for 2,000, because that way that's 20 stacks of 100. And then we can have other ones that are just set to be bulk. Oh, these don't work with groups. Oh, that's so annoying. Oh man, I forgot about that. Can I at least type it? Maybe I can type it. Is it? I wonder if it's it is. And you can type it. Okay. So maybe we'll call them BS 100. I'll just keep it short so I don't have to type that every time. But what we should be able to do, so it's like it does work with logistics groups, but for some reason this menu's glitched. But if I type BS 100, we get it. And then I could change BS 100 in a different one to 4,000, and then it would change all of them. So that's my thought, is we set them all to be bulk stack, ones where we're wanting full trains. And then my other thought is for ones where we don't want full trains, such as this one where I set the stack threshold to be only 1,000, I don't want full trains anyway. And so for that, I'm feeling like we just leave it at 1,000. Even when we have bigger trains, we still don't want more to be requested, right? And so, yeah, I don't know if that makes any sense, but we also don't have any wood provided yet. I still need to fix that. Anyway, I'm thinking I'm going to turn off automatic allow lists on all my stations, and we're just going to do it that way. As far as the wagon sizing issue, which should be easy to fix at this point, because I only have so many stations. Are these all named correctly? A single fluids depot, the other solids. Okay, and then these automatic, 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 automatic. Okay, so that's done, and now we need to change our blueprints. I'll Also, this can stop running. I'm just gonna delete those. Alright, and then one more thing. I got a new mod. It's kind of exciting. Spoilage scanner. I don't know if it's gonna work. I don't know if it's gonna crash my game. I don't know if it's gonna lag my game if I use 20 of them on big, you know, warehouses. But there is a spoilage scanner mod, and I'll have a couple more things to say about it, but if it works, then it is going to be how we solve the issues I've been talking about. Because I don't mind spoilage as a mechanic. What I mind is my inability to control things related to spoilage. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's like, I don't actually mind that things spoil. What I mind is that I can't figure out, hey, if anything, you know, if I have meat that's within 20 minutes of spoiling, just get it out of there. Like, I just can't do that. There's no way to do that. And I was thinking about, there are a couple methods, but they would be so finicky. Like, imagine we had a big slaughterhouse city block, right? And what we'd have to do is basically use the RS latch method that I used in Space Age to basically remove the 100 most spoiled items of a certain type, and then we can add in another stack. If you're adding them in as you remove them, it just ends up averaging everything, and that's not how you want it to go. Instead, you want to remove the most spoiled and then add a fresh one, and then you always have a bunch. You have like a staircase. Like, let's just say this was all meat. You'd have a staircase of like freshest meat, slightly more spoiled, all the way down to the most spoiled, which still, if you're removing it consistently, would maybe still have 5 hours left on the timer. I don't remember what meat is. Is it 6 or 8 hours or whatever? Anyway, so you would do that, but then this thing is also getting full. But if you were adding it in constantly, you would just have a set of meat that's all the same amount spoiled. And I think it would average out over time if you were using it as fast as you were adding it, but anyway, by having a discrete set, you can kind of keep the FIFO thing going. But all that being said, whether that's necessary or not, the problem becomes you end up not knowing, like if you're making it on demand, you don't know how spoiled those are. And so if you are just constantly adding in fresh ones and removing the least fresh ones, then you will have pretty much fresh stuff here, but then you're wasting tons of it, right? And so instead, you'd rather make it on demand, but you don't know when to make it on demand because you can't measure how spoiled things are. And so there's just no way to do it simply, even though logistically it's a simple idea, right? Like, what I'd like to do is just say, hey, whenever anything's below 50%, get rid of it. You know, that's a simple idea. And then you'd measure over here, hey, if we have less than 2,000 meat, chop up some more augs. Done. Like that, those are two very simple ideas, and you just can't do it, right? And so instead, I'm wanting another solution, and that solution might be this spoilage scanner mod. Like I said, I don't know. Is it gonna crash the game? Are we just is everything gonna get screwed up? But it looks like it's working. So it's saying there's meat in there that's 5% fresh. If I say most fresh, it's saying the most fresh brains are 88% fresh. Somewhere. Which is probably true. I can't really verify that easily. Here. Yeah, there we go, 88%. So I don't know if it rounds up or down, but there you go. It seems to be working. I don't know how performant it is or isn't. You know, we may have to... Like, I don't know if it's taking spoilage scanner. It's not a good sign that it's already at 0.02, given there's only one of them. Why does it move back and forth? But yeah, given it's 0.02 with just a single spoilage scanner, that's bad. Yeah, that's really bad. Or no, sorry. Oh, okay. Sorry, I was thinking 0.02 seconds. That's 0.02 These are measured in milliseconds. We have 16.6 milliseconds to play around with before the game gets laggy. And so if the spoilage scanners are only taking 0.02 a piece, that's 50 spoilage scanners is gonna take 1 millisecond. That's actually pretty bad. That is pretty bad, I take it back. Interesting. That is pretty bad performance-wise. Because 50 of them is going to be a whole millisecond. Of which we only have 16.6 in the entire game to play with. So they are extremely expensive then. Well, if anyone, it's an MIT license, so if anyone wants to pop open the mod and see if you can make it more performant, be my guest. But now I'm scared to use them. Dang, I was hopeful this would be a good option, but I'm thinking it's not going to be a good option. Also, there are these spikes. It's taking 1 millisecond every so often, so I don't know. Like, if I were to add 15 more of these, am I gonna actually have lag spikes already? Yeah, we may just not be able to use them. Now, it's possible that it's only doing it that way because it's on this giant warehouse, right? It's possible that if I were to use them on, say, small little chests, let's just grab a couple random things here. Possible that they don't require much at all. Yeah, that's about half as much, 0.01, roughly. No, I guess there was just an overhead, because that only added 0.003. So yeah, definitely better on either smaller chests or less items, or both. I'm not sure which one. Wait, did I not just craft a bunch of these? What just happened? Have I gone mad? Didn't you guys see me right click twice here? Oh, that's CyberSyn constant combinators. LOL. They're very similar looking. I have gone mad. All right. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty unacceptable. That's what I was worried about. Because that number back there means, I think that's its maximum. So that means we would have an actual lag spike once in a while if that's above 6, if the total's above 16. And spoilage scanner by itself was taking 7.8 milliseconds. Once every, I don't know if that's once every second or once every 5 seconds. So unfortunately, this mod is unusably bad for performance. We're dealing with a pyanodon's base. I only added, what was that, 15 of them? I don't even know if we added all 17 to this. And it was already, yeah, I did add all 17, but it was already basically giving me lag spikes. Now again, this is on a warehouse, but like, I don't think there's a way I can use these consistently around the base and not have them add up. And I know some of you laugh at me for being worried about UPS, but like in this case, it's justified. That's actually, those numbers are way too high for this to be usable. So that's a little bit of a bummer. I also never even mentioned, I did change the recipe. The default recipe included red circuits, which obviously we're not going to see for another 150 hours. So I manually changed the recipe in the mod file to test it out, but I think I'm just going to be removing the mod for now. But yeah, if anyone who has coding experience wants to take a look at the algorithms, maybe they can be optimized way better. Because obviously this is exactly what we need. This is exactly the solution we want to be able to solve our spoilage problems. So it's just sad to me that we can't actually use it, because I was really, really excited about this mod. That's a bummer. I mean, I could use a couple of them around the, like, if there's one spot where I really want to use one, I could use like a couple. But if I started to just use them as a normal part of my solutions for spoilable materials, that would be too much. So instead, we're gonna have to go with the other method, which is like some sort of FIFO system that doesn't, I don't even know. I'm not gonna handle it right now. Anyway, yeah, let's go ahead and move on. What are we working on? I completely lost our place from last episode. Oh yeah, the coal power plant stuff. Did we actually research it? We did. Okay. So, how many coal power plants do I need to burn all of this coal? I don't even know where I did this block. Here it is. So let's see. Coal, ingredient. Where even is it? Alternative energy? Why not that? Wait, what? Oh, they need coal power plants. That's why that's showing up. Which one would it be? Or where would it be? I guess it wouldn't be in anything because we're using it as fuel for a building. So instead we need to make molten salt in not a solar tower megastructure though. Or maybe it'll let me. Nope, that does not let me select a building. Oh, here we go. Okay, so we want to make molten salt. Let's say 100. Oh no, that's the wrong. Dang it, I didn't mean to exit out. Molten salt. I need more coffee, man. All right, molten salt. I wanted to put it in its own block so we could just make it not a consumer. Okay, so if we wanted to use 40 coal, I need 16 coal power plants. Jeez. That's a lot. Because those things are not cheap. Look at that price. 16 of these is not going to happen. I could do 4 of them, maybe. I don't even know if we have enough steel for that right now, but... yeah, that's just not going to happen. The problem is this is my method of fiber generation right now, so I need to do something. I need to do something. Do I use... Well, let's start with 4. Let's do coal power plants. Let's start with 4 of those. Because we're gonna need the power, and then we're not gonna have to worry about power as much, and then we're at least consuming some amount of that coal. And then maybe I'll find something else to do with it. Maybe I will ship it over here. Maybe I'll attach the train network over here or something, and we can ship it over and use it for these boilers. Because that would be a really easy way to deal with it without adding any fuss. I'm also gonna have to deal with that ash. Next time the ash fills up, I'm gonna start venting it. Anyway, coal power plants are going to be an alternative energy. And they are not cheap. Yeah, I don't think we have enough steel built up, honestly. Maybe. I need intermetallics and a bunch of steam engines. I need, like, all my steam engines. And then intermetallics, I need a couple hundred. Okay, there's one more. Now I need more circuits and small parts. Okay, now I need more iron. Alright, there's 4. We managed to get to 4. Okay. So 4 of those produces 400 hot molten salt, which then goes into... Wait. What? Produces 100 hot molten salt. My bad. Which only needs 1 heat exchanger to turn 37.5 pressurized water into 37.5 pressurized steam, which is at 1,000 degrees. And then that steam gets used in... I think we can add a recipe in the Helmon menu that should represent the pressurized steam making power. Because we can add these. Oh, it's gonna be one of these guys. High pressure steam turbine. There we go. There we go. So we can see how many megajoules we're getting out of that. That's a solid 300 megajoules right there. Or megawatts, because this is per second. So that's not bad. Not bad at all. We do make some ash that we can burn or vent or whatever. But yeah, this is a good, easy way to just add some power. So I do need 1 heat exchanger, which needs more... Oh, it needs an automated factory, which that's partially why we automated these. Heat exchanger, and then it was the high pressure turbine, which is this guy. Which needs me to manually grab a few things, like utility boxes, and 1 shaft, 3 gearbox, 4 brake. Shoot. I didn't... Oh, wait, we're out of Phoenix? Is that true? It is true. I'm out of Nextlit. Oh, damn. Alright. How did that happen? He's out of food. He's out of food because... Because why? Debugging episode. These guys can run off jerky though, can't they? Oh my god, the second one's already... Oh, never mind, that one's supposed to be full. Can't they run off jerky? Caravans? That's why I'm confused. Maybe... actually, I have no answers for why he might be completely out of food. Because my food doodads never been empty. I don't think. Maybe it has. Maybe it got empty somehow. Let's try driving properly. I was trying to drink coffee. Don't drink and drive. Alright. Wait, where's our next slit again? Yeah, I'm on the right track. Okay, so... something happened here. No! I keep hitting the wrong button. It's because I changed the, I changed it to the period key on my numpad, and it's going to take a while for me to get used to that. But anyway, I don't know what exactly happened to you, but you should be fine now. Okay, and thankfully he has almost a full package of Nextlit, so soon he will. But yeah, what happened here? It goes and it stores food first. I don't really know. Maybe this happened a long time ago or something, and it ended up taking this long to show up. It's only been about an hour with no raw Nextlit production. So I'm actually really confused by this. Because that caravan should have been filling itself up with food that whole time. I'm gonna watch it here. Well, what's gonna happen? Oh, you know what? I wonder if... because it's gonna take, like, all the jerky. So maybe... no, because this starts to refill pretty fast. I don't know what happened, to be perfectly honest. I want to add those in. Can't really say I fully understand what happened here. I'm curious how fast the Nextlit actually is. Hard to measure. Nextlit. Oh. Wait, what? Oh no, we've had problems for a long time. Okay, maybe it has been. Yeah, we haven't. Okay, never mind. I saw this and I was like, oh, we've had consistent Nextlit, but that was from the other thing that's making Nextlit. We haven't had Nextlit production for 10 hours. Maybe it did break when the caravan stuff switched over from 1 slot to 2 slots and all that jazz. We haven't been getting raw Nextlit for 10 hours. From our Digosauruses. Okay. Wow. Well, there you go. Cool. Anyway, that's one problem solved. Next problem is... yeah, how are we gonna deal with spoilage? I'm just gonna keep kicking that can down the road. I think there are some ways to do it. It may actually even involve radar signals from other blocks to like get a vibe for how much we need. I may do something like that. I did get the signal transmission mod, but the problem is signal transmission doesn't show up till chemical science. So we're still a long way away from being able to use these, and they need blue circuits, which is even which is even worse than chemical science. Because blue circuits are extremely expensive. Like, they're not even... Once we have chemical science, we still need blue circuits after that. I don't know when we get them, but it's not probably for a while. Blue circuits are here. Yeah, we don't get blue circuits until Pi 3. So that's another mod where I'm like, that doesn't... I'm guessing that's just the vanilla numbers. I would love for someone to make a compatibility patch. Or I'd love for pyanodon's itself to make a compatibility patch for signal transmission. So that this... I feel like unlocked in the red circuit world would be the... That would make some sense to me. Somewhere in red circuits, kind of Pi 2 science, that world. This feels like it's so late, you kind of have needed it for a long time. So it's possible that I manually change those recipes. But anyway, the reason you would use that mod is because it has different channels. And so you can select what channel you want things to build on. You can select what channel you want so that you can use the same signals in different places. Because how it is with radars right now, you know, if you send a signal through a radar, I'm looking for a local radar, I don't think I have any. If you send a signal through a radar, it's just, there's one global channel. There's green and red, I guess, so you get 2 channels, but that's it. And obviously that's not really enough for doing complex things. Now, we do have, it's worth noting, we do have a lot of signals to play with, right? All of these are signals. Literally every single, so like, if I don't need the signal to match exactly what it means, I probably have enough signals, even just using the vanilla radars. But the problem is, if I want to send the guts signal in 2 different places, I'm already out of options. So... Anyway, oh, we still aren't done making the turbine. Shoot. And that's gonna be a while now because of the Nexalit problem. Okay, so I guess we're not making the coal power plant right now. So what are we doing right now then? We are doing bone meal. Probably. Okay, let's think about bone meal. So bones are used in a lot of places. And bone meal is used in a decent number of places. So I think having both on trains makes sense. Okay. And then, in this case, organic solvent from bone meal and olefins. But then olefins, Control E. I need to get used to this. Or do I just want to do it this way? Naphthalene and carbolic. Naphthalene. Now that's interesting. Chitin and middle oil alone gives me everything I need to make organic solvent. Not in the right ratios, but it does give me what I need. Is there a way to get middle oil? Nope. I mean, I was thinking not tar prod. That's literally the only thing in the entire game that gives us middle oil. Okay. So we're not going to use that. So carbolic only comes from tar. Interesting. So this is just another way to process the mineral oil. You add in some chitin, and you get way more carbolic, less naphthalene, and less light oil. So it's like carbolic focused. Interesting. And then there's this one where we can kind of directly produce it with coal and tar rather than needing to make pitch first. It's really not productive, but it's kind of a direct recipe, which is nice. And it's also a lot of coal gas for whatever that's worth. Interesting. Yeah, I don't think we're going to do that right now. So let's get bones onto trains. Gosh, this is so weird. I just don't even know what I'm doing. I feel like the game has opened up in some scary ways and I'm just like floundering at this point. Having fun, but floundering. Alright, we're gonna put bones on this belt. And we're gonna bring them up from down here, maybe? Wait, what's going on with bones here? Looks like we don't have enough bones. Was bones the restrictive piece of this whole equation? I think it was. Bone meal goes to making biological samples, which goes to making poor alien samples. What I'm trying to see is there a way that we're ever losing bones to spoilage? And the answer is no. Because it goes directly into something that cannot spoil. And bone meal can't spoil. So we never lose bone meal. I was just like, maybe what's happening here is our ratios are off because of bone meal spoilage, but that's not the case. I am out of plasmids though. That's scary. Why am I out of plasmids? Why am I out of plasmids? Where am I making plasmids? Here. We're out of laboratory instruments. Because we're out of rubber. Because of unknown reasons. Seems like we have rubber. He's about to grab 400 more. One titanium makes 2 rubber. That's still true. So having the 200 to 400 ratio still makes sense. So he'll grab a rubber package soon and then drop it off here. Because here is where the cDNA grabs rubber. Here, why don't I just skip you ahead a little bit here? I think I need to do this twice, actually. Yeah, because there's too much rubber here that's never going to get grabbed. I guess I could grab it manually. Gosh, there's so many interconnected pieces already to my base. What do we do? What do we do? Panic. Full panic. Okay. Let's grab the rest of the rubber. Because that's just going to stay buffered there forever because of the way the That caravan is configured to basically pick up the same amount that he drops off in titanium. So we'll put it all here. Okay, cDNA, eDNA just decided to go on his trip, so he should get rubber this time, and that'll get me more plasmids. Good, good, good. Okay. And Nexlet is running again. Look at that. Beautiful Nexlet. Beautiful shiny green, blue-green plates. I guess they're more blue. They have a little, I feel like they're a little bit teal, but they're blue more than anything. Shiny blue, beautiful Nexlet plates. Okay. So that got Phoenix running again, and with Phoenix running again, we might already see shafts running. Yes, perfect. Now how many did I need? I needed like 4 brakes and 3 gearboxes and 1 shaft. Okay. There we go. Sweet. Okay, this should be the gearbox that we need for our high pressure turbine. Hooray. And that high pressure turbine oh wow, we're using 4 sub blocks. I love it. Look, I know Pi is kind of buggy right now and weird, and it doesn't do all the things you expect it to do, but having the ability to do these sub blocks is something Pi needed for a long time. I'm just hopeful that it can get fixed more. Anyway, I was just seeing like, okay, how much more can one steam turbine handle? And it looks like it can handle like another 3 coal power plants or so before we run out. So, let's see. So we will need another one once we move to more. But yeah, I think this is as good a spot as any for the coal power plants since we've got all the coal right here. Let's throw them maybe up here. They are big boys. Not surprising, given pyanodon's. 3, 4. You guys all make molten salt. And then we'll go ahead and prioritize to the right. Okay. Now we need molten salt initially. So we need to do some salt melting. How do we melt salt in the first place? Boff. Just good old boff. Basic oxygen furnace. Thankfully I can craft one. And then I'm just gonna go manually grab some salt. Though I may not be able to grab enough. I don't know. I don't know how much we need. We've got a whole truck here I can fill up, so. Might be enough. But to fill the buffers, it might not, so we'll come back if we need to. I can always do the saline water thing. Saline water's right here, so I can... Oh, it's literally right here. Wow. Hey! What? I thought I hit the right button that time. Did I... What just happened? I swear I hit the quick ride button that time. Yeah, wait a second. What's going on? I'm hitting the quick ride hotkey and it's not... Oh, it's because the trunk is full. Oh. You know, Putinator, if you're watching this, I think a small recommendation I have is when that happens, display an error message to the player like vehicle could not be picked up because, you know, inventory full or something like that. Just so that players aren't like thinking it's a bug or glitch or something. It makes sense. It just wasn't clear that that's what was happening. All right, so then these are going to be connected. Like so. And then you need fuel as well. And then we need the salt. Okay. So then that loads in 300 salt to make 100 molten salt. And then we heat that up in batches of 500, so that's batches of 1500 salt. Yeah, that is going to take a while. We'll probably need more salt then. All right, so we need an evaporator. And that just goes right here. Uh-oh, that's not what we needed. Crap, I just built the wrong building. Oh, I haven't researched this yet. Ha! Whoops. Well, I guess we can't get salt from saline water just yet. Good to know, good to know. Each of these needs 10 megawatts, and so that's 2.5 coal per second. That's what, 4? Yeah, 4 inserters. Okay. It also means 4 outserters for ash. I'll deal with that in a moment. Okay, and then we've got hot, molten, salt. Hooked up. And then the hot molten salt goes into a heat exchanger. I probably should have it on this end. We can always expand later, like the coal power plant's down. So we'll have this part over here. Alright, and then you make the high pressure steam. Like this. And then you need a pressure pump, which I wonder what I'm almost out of. Is it steel? It's probably steel. It's always steel. You're gonna make water. Of course, you need pump jack for that. You know, I probably could have grabbed power more easily from the train tracks. So let's do that. There we go. It's a little smarter. Okay, so then there's pressurized water. The rate should be, yeah, no problems. We need 60 at most. And then that goes into our, wow, this thing's so tiny. Thing right here, high pressure steam turbine, absurd amounts of power from a tiny little building. I feel like that should be bigger. I mean, maybe I'm inviting my own destruction, but it just feels like that's so small compared to everything else you've already put into it. Even if that was double the size, I wouldn't have a problem with it, because the most you only need one of those for every 7 coal power plants. So it's not like that, even if it was bigger, it's still never going to be a significant part of the build. I mean, it still looks cool, as always. All right, and then we recycle the less hot molten salt, like this. And that goes back, and that's the circle of salt. It's the circle of salt. And then we need more salt. And then we need to get rid of the ash. And then we're done. Sweet. Salt again. I mean, how much do I actually need? I might be... I maybe need to actually set up a belt or something. Alright, there's one more research done. Because we need enough that all 4 of these have some salt buffered, which is 2,000 hot molten salt. But the problem is each one will buffer up to 1,000, so like we might need a lot more salt than that. Once this is done, I can actually automate that salt from the saline water, but I can't yet. All right, let's deal with the ash. Let's do this to there, this to there, this to there. This to there, and then we'll do 4 out, because 4 in means 4 out. That's just the math. And come in like this. So those are all on the far side, so now we want these to all be on the close side. Like that, and this. And then we need a pressure pump, and how do we get rid of that one? No, this one. Gas refinery. Which needs steel. Of course it needs steel. Of course it needs steel. Alright, let's get out of here. Enter. Click. Take me over. All right. And then we need steel. You know what I should do is I should get a rail connection to like right here, so I can deliver myself to the mall. That would be nice. Alright, there's some steel. Do we have iron? Do we have copper? Yeah, we've got a lot of stuff. I need to get rid of some things like coarse coal, a quartz, a moss. Some random coal dust. A bunch of stone. I'll get rid of the coal here in a second. 10 plastic. I might need plastic for certain buildings, so I probably shouldn't have gotten rid of that. But it's fine. More medium poles. Get rid of the little poles. Okay. That's a bit better. Run back over here. Hop in this. Drive over. Okay, gas refinery. Boom. Oh, I forgot to grab pipes. I knew there was something. I knew there was something. Let's go grab some more salt while that's happening. Okay. Back we go. And then, oh, sorry. Back over here. No, I did it again. You know, I'm undecided if I think vehicles should auto-apply a brake when you hop out of them while they're moving. Because, like, there's something funny about this that's kind of fun, but also, like, from a reasonable perspective, having a vehicle automatically brake when you get out of it would make a lot of sense. I mean, in some ways it doesn't make sense because, like, real vehicles don't do that, like, but also people don't hop out of vehicles that are driving 70 miles an hour. So like, the arguments for realism die out pretty fast because you just can't hop out of moving vehicles. So in a game, like in a lot of games, when you hop out of a moving vehicle, it doesn't go into neutral, it goes into like park, basically. You know, it's gonna try to come to a stop. And as far as like actual gameplay utility, does that even have any utility? I guess maybe you could ram a biter nest or something, but I'm not seeing a ton of utility to that. Alright. And yes, I do realize I'm potentially wasting ash that could be useful, but for now, it's fine. I can always... When I start needing lots of ash, I can find these places and load the ash into trains. But I'm not gonna set up a whole ash deleting station just yet. Not quite ready for that. I'm missing the one building. Pressure. What? What is this, and why is this? Why would you ever... I guess this just is a way to delete purest... No, that doesn't make sense either. You can already delete purest nitrogen by just putting it in a gas vent. Maybe this is for players who are in hard mode. That's the only thing I can think of. That's the only reason I can think that recipe exists. Because you can already delete purest nitrogen, so that just doesn't make any sense to me. Alright, there we go. And yeah, flue gas has no real purpose yet for me. Funnily enough, activated carbon combined with flue gas can get you some syngas. But I wonder if you needed more... Yeah, that's never going to be worth your time, I don't think. Not in most scenarios, anyway. But yeah, now we're deleting the ash. So now it's just a matter of grabbing more salt. And we should be off to the races with hot molten salt power. Hopefully this is enough to get things rolling. Things already should be rolling, right? Or have these all managed to split the hot salt between them so none of them have a full load? No, there's already hot molten salt. What's going on over here? Oh, I didn't rotate the building correctly. Well, that's embarrassing. try that on for size. Okay. Pressurized water, pressurized water. It's not flowing in. Did we find a glitch? Do we need to what the heck? We deleted it and it pushed the pressurized water into it. I wonder if the... No, it's glitched. Something's glitched here. I wonder if I need a pipe. Yes, somehow water got into there. But then if I slide it that way, it should be fine. Okay. Yeah, that's what I was wondering from the beginning. No! It's still... No, that's good, that's good. I think we're good now. Maybe. Yeah, okay. Now we're good. Yeah, water somehow had gotten into neither of them, but it was still blocking it. Because of the internal buffers for these. It's weird, but yeah, there we go. Okay, so now we've got a lot of extra power. It says 1.1 gigawatts, but we know the truth is probably closer to about 800 megawatts is now my base's capacity. And that's assuming coal dust isn't backed up. So right now we have a system that is producing coal as long as we are utilizing coal dust. It's also not lane balanced, which actually it needs to be. Because of this. Is the way I did that, at least. So we need this, and this. Okay, so that, because what was happening is the only lane that the coal ends up on is the top lane, but it was the bottom lane was the only lane that was actually getting used for the hot molten salt. And so we weren't using the coarse coal at all, but now we've fixed that issue with a lane balancer. So there's a case where like a lane balancer can be handy. There were other ways to solve the problem. I could have put the single lane of coal onto both lanes before priority merging it. That would have worked too. So there are some other options, but this thing I just realized is way too slow. Man, that's a bummer. These can... at the risk of sounding like a complainer, I feel like this should go faster. It just makes me not want to use it. It just makes me want to do this instead. And this feels like a lamer solution. Like, I feel like if you're gonna give the player a quote-unquote better or more legit solution, it shouldn't compete with the lazy, crappy solution. Or it should be competitive with that, I mean, is kind of what I'm trying to say. Because these get rid of ash at a rate of 2.622 a piece. Is there really not a better way to get rid of ash? Yeah, this is just way slower. For a building that big, I feel like this should be faster. I guess this is the play. Just ash separation. Or even... yeah, I mean, probably it. Ooh, better bone meal. Anyway, yeah, I feel like this recipe should be a lot faster because the whole point is kind of to delete ash. That being so slow doesn't make much sense. So we should just solid separator. And then we can deal with the coal dust, iron oxide, and soot. And soot is even useful. I mean, not that I don't know if I'm actually going to use it right here, but we can just chuck all this into a solid separator, and then we're good to go. Because that actually can handle 10 a second. And then we can do coal dust. Onto the coal dust belt. I guess we could do down here. And then we can do soot and iron oxide into some chests, which can then be, those can be burned. Let's see. Let me load soot, or iron oxide, I mean, directly in. Ooh, we need to be done with this episode. I have to go. We'll load iron oxide directly into the burner. We'll load coal into the burner. And then we'll load soot into here. And that will only run when soot is greater than 4,600. It's 48 stacks, right? Yeah. And then that will be based on soot filter. Okay, there we go. That should get rid of everything. Easy peasy. But yeah, it feels weird that if all you're doing is mixing the ash with air and venting it into the atmosphere, why is that such a slow recipe? I feel like that should be the fastest of all of them. You know, make that recipe like 4 or 5 times faster, in my opinion. You're using an entire gas refinery just to blow, you're just blasting air over it, you know? Like, that feels like that should be a really fast recipe. I'd be okay with it requiring more pressurized air and then being a lot faster. Anyway, that feels like a really weak recipe compared to your other options. Especially given it requires such a big building. It makes it feel like, well, why wouldn't I just do that, you know? And that's what I'm doing. Okay, sweet. Well, we've got hot molten salt running. It's a glorious, glorious thing. And yeah, that's a lot more power, and we can easily expand this later. Sweet. Well, we're going to call that an episode. As always, thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think down in the comments, and I'll see you all in the next one.